Greetings friends, welcome back. Thanks so much for watching this channel. So I'm very excited today. I'd like to speak with you about showing up in life. Now, first of all, let me ask you this question. How do you feel in your life when people don't show up? So if you have a relationship in life, or if you're dealing with your boss, you're dealing with your kids, you're dealing with your parents, your spouse, whomever it may be, even if you're dealing for a delivery, if you're waiting on a delivery and it doesn't show up at your house, or if it doesn't show up on time, if you want to gift someone something and it doesn't show up, how it just ruins your entire day. How does that make you feel when someone or something does not show up for you? Naturally, there must be so many assumptions and judgments which each one might have about the person we are relating with, isn't it? Okay, yes, of course, we can all relate with that. I know personally I have my own assumptions and judgments the moment when someone does not show up in my life. From the unconscious layer, from the unconscious level, immediate reactions to that. There will so many assumptions and judgments that come up. But today what I want to talk to you all about is what happens when we don't show up for ourselves? What happens when we don't show up for life with ourselves? What happens when we stop saying yes to life? Now, currently, in many of my life experiences, what I'm going through is so much of empowerment in my inner space. Reasoning behind is I'm starting to understand on deeper and deeper levels of how to manifest my true desires from within. What I mean by that is, first of all, there is a clarity that needs to happen inside. For a long time, even in our own desires which we want, for example, if I have a desire to manifest something in life, that desire might not even be an authentic desire. That desire might be coming from a space of comparison, or it might be coming from a space of jealousy, or it might be coming from a space of greed. Now, all these different emotions in my life, when I look in, are happening to me because I stopped showing up for life. So what I mean by that is, due to my past fears or judgments or patterns, for example, I'll give you an example about this. So let's say in the past, I have a fear of judgment, or I have a fear of judgment in the present moment due to some incidents in the past. Now, when there's an opportunity that presents itself in life, let's say, for example, a new promotion at work, or let's say just showing up in my relationships, many times if I have a fear of failing, or if I fear of being judged, or if I have a doubt of something, I will just not show up. This is the way I will make an assumption about the incident, or about the person, or about life situations and circumstances, and I will just withdraw. Anytime we withdraw from life, we are giving powers to that inner space, that low inner image which we are carrying about ourselves. I've noticed that so many times in my life. Any times when I've ended up feeling I've missed out on something in life, there might be so many excuses what I can come up with, like a tantrum throwing child. No, I don't want to do this. Why should I have to show up? Why do I have to be the one to take responsibility? It's too hard. Let me put it away for now. Let me first meet up to this scale. Let me first do this, and then I can do that. So there's so many patterns of procrastination. There's so many patterns of fear of being judged. There are many other patterns of feeling not good enough. Just patterns and patterns and patterns which we've accumulated from our past experiences, which stops us from experiencing life in the now. What I notice in my life is the more I am willing, the more I am persistent in saying yes to life. It could be anything. It could be just showing up. See, the power of our words is such, when we give how it hurts us when someone gives us their words and they don't show up. We know the effect it has in our inner space. We know how it makes us feel not okay with that circumstance or with that person. Overall, our trust in life, our trust with that person, our trust in the relationship. But what we don't realize is how saying no to life is directly impacting our inner space now. Meaning that we are strengthening that fear, we are strengthening that doubt, we are strengthening that judgment by going into those patterns before even trying and showing up. So the best way I've noticed in my life, in my experiences, to overcome these fears, to overcome these doubts, is to just show up. Even if it means showing up. See, showing up is really good when we take responsibility from just showing up to work. That might be one instance. Showing up would be really good when we tell someone, hey, I'm going to show up and meet you here tomorrow, or let's have a meeting tomorrow, let's talk about what needs to get done. That might be showing up. But many times This is all where we stop because we feel that this is as much as we can do. Do not be afraid to show up in many areas of your life. See, what happens is that as much as we show up to life is the amount that life is showing up for us. I've noticed that when the cunningness starts happening, when I start saying, well, I am showing up, I'm going to work, and then I can't wait to leave work, right? So that's showing up. But is that showing up from the space of enthusiasm? Is that showing up from the space of being okay with showing up? That is what I feel the difference is. Don't be afraid to take up new adventures in life. Don't be afraid to take up new projects. Don't be afraid to stretch yourself. If you feel you have a weekend coming up and you need to get work done, don't be afraid to show up. Problem is that the fear will come up. Oh, no. If I show up, I might miss out on something else. But we never showed up. In fact, when you show up, you expand your possibilities. This is the way life is happening for me. This is the way I am expanding into my constant possibilities just by showing up. See, because there is so much fear of the past, we will always rely on some expectations. We have a fear that if we show up, we might fail. We have a fear that we should only show up as much as we are capable of showing up. Anything beyond that might lead us to failure. These are all the assumptions and these are all the judgments we are constantly struggling with in our inner space. The power of our thoughts are such that until we step out of our comfort zone, until we go beyond the assumptions and judgments and say yes to life, we are not expanding. If life is for expansion after all, if we're not expanding, what is happening? Naturally, we're missing out. We're missing out on maybe business deals. We're missing out on maybe expansion, our own growth, our own relationships, our own potential, our own possibilities, our own creativity. So much we're missing out because we are afraid to step out. So for me personally, saying yes to life anywhere and everywhere, not just the things that we need in our day-to-day life, which of course is very good to start out with, but don't be afraid to take things up. Don't be afraid for example, don't be afraid to take up new activities in your life, right? So if there is there's a happening which you always desire to be a part of, naturally when the doubt comes up, you will say so many things will happen in the inner space. You will say, well, I want to take up this is what I truly desire, I want to manifest this in my life, but the pattern of procrastination will come up because so many judgments will start happening. The only way to stop those judgments, the only way to stop those assumptions is to go beyond them. Simply move to a space beyond them. After all, why worry about the results? In my own life experiences, I'm realizing the more I'm able to say yes to life, just saying yes and showing up in those places, showing up with those people, showing up in those circumstances, situations, events, is enough to fulfill me. That even if what I'm expecting out of the situation happens or doesn't happen, does not leave me with any guilt. So clearly we can see so much of guilt which we accumulate, it's just a vicious cycle. That guilt will not allow us to move forward in possibilities. That procrastination will start happening again, which will not allow us to expand any further. That assumption and judgment will start happening again, which plays a vicious pattern in our life. So stop everything, whatever judgments you're holding about yourself, whatever assumptions you have, and start relating with life. Start relating with people. You will see, once you're able to start relating with people by saying yes and just by showing up, don't even worry about expectations. Just showing up is going to give us enough confidence. It has given me so much confidence in life just by showing up that expectations are no longer even a part of my life. When I have a belief that this is what I expect from this, when that does not meet my expectation, I fall back into the same patterns of feeling like I'm a failure. I may be guilt, so much of guilt, I should not have done this, or I'm not good enough, compare myself to others. Whatever those patterns we are constantly struggling with in our workplace, in our relationships with our spouse, our family members, our kids, our relationship even with our body most of all. You will see simply when you move beyond expectations and assumptions and judgments about your own self, you start saying yes to life. That is enough to liberate us from so many of our patterns which we have been holding on to. You will see a beautiful, healthy inner space start developing, which will also change even our physique, meaning that any disturbance which is happening inside the body-mind system, that itself will start healing. So I encourage you all to take up life and say yes and just start showing up without any expectations, moreover, without any assumption and judgment. After all, what is the worst that can happen? In fact, I have to be honest with you, it's only best that can happen. It has given me tremendous courage to stop judging myself, because there's no room for judgment. When you lose all expectations, when I've stopped worrying about the expectation, if whether something is going to work out or not, the action itself of showing up has given me tremendous self-confidence in myself to keep on saying yes to life. As a side effect, what's happening is I'm manifesting so much good things in my life. I'm manifesting new creativity. I'm manifesting new and new activities, which is helping me to grow. Not just from one particular dimension, but all dimension. My body's getting healthy as that's happening. I'm not in a denial. When I stop denying myself, when I stop denying my possibilities, just by showing up, I am giving strength to my body. I am giving strength to my mind. And overall, I'm expanding consciously. So it is a beautiful space to be in just by showing up. I encourage you all to give this a try in your life. Start showing up anywhere and everywhere. Start taking up more and more responsibility by just showing up and saying yes to life. Thank you so much for your time, and may you be blissful. Thank you.